Stop scrolling, take a breath, because what I am about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America, somewhere in a drawer, inside an old wallet, or tucked quietly into a forgotten collection. History is sleeping, and today on World Rare Coin, we are waking it up. Imagine holding a small, round piece of metal and realizing it once passed through the hands of power, ambition, revolution, and destiny. Imagine a coin that whispers stories of Andrew Jackson, a leader forged in conflict and controversy. A coin that carries the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, the mind behind American independence and vision, and a coin that echoes the presence of George Washington, the foundation stone of an entire nation. These are not just portraits stamped in metal. These are moments frozen in time, moments that collectors spend lifetimes searching for. Tonight, we are not just talking about coins. We are traveling through American history, mystery, and obsession. Each coin we reveal is connected. Each story builds tension. And each discovery pulls you deeper into the world of elite numismatics. Stay with me, because what begins as curiosity will turn into disbelief. And by the end of this video, you may never look at pocket change the same way again. This is World Rare Coin, and the hunt for hidden legends starts now. Andrew Jackson Presidential Dollar Coin. Before we reveal why this coin has become one of the most talked about modern American collectibles, you need to understand the man behind the metal. Andrew Jackson was not just the 7th President of the United States. He was a symbol of raw power, controversy, and transformation. A self-made figure who rose from poverty to the highest office in the nation. His presidency reshaped American politics forever, and when the United States Mint chose his portrait for the presidential dollar coin series, they were not simply honoring a president. They were sealing a complex and emotional chapter of American history into a small, circular piece of metal. Now imagine this coin resting quietly in your hand, its surface reflecting light, its weight feeling ordinary at first, yet carrying centuries of conflict, ambition, and legacy. The Andrew Jackson Presidential Dollar Coin was released as part of the Presidential $1 Coin Program, a program designed to honor past presidents and educate Americans through circulating coinage. But what many people do not realize is that within this program, certain coins became extraordinary due to condition rarity, strike quality, and collector demand. And this is where the story truly begins. The obverse of the coin features a bold portrait of Andrew Jackson facing left, his expression stern, unyielding, almost confrontational, mirroring the personality that earned him the nickname Old Hickory. The inscriptions include his name and the years of his presidency, 1829 to 1837. But unlike traditional American coins, this series moved important information such as the date, mint mark, and mottos to the edge of the coin, a decision that would later create some of the most valuable variations. Collectors obsess over today. As you slowly rotate the coin between your fingers, the edge lettering comes into view, and here is where suspense builds because slight differences in edge lettering position, clarity, and completeness have turned ordinary examples into elite collectibles. Some coins left the mint with missing edge lettering, others with doubled inscriptions, and a few with razor-sharp, perfectly centered lettering that grading experts consider exceptional. These details may sound small, but in numismatics, small details create massive differences in value. Now, let us talk about the physical characteristics of this coin, because understanding the technical specifications is critical for any serious collector. The Andrew Jackson Presidential Dollar Coin has a diameter of approximately 26.5 millimeters, giving it a solid presence without being bulky. Its thickness measures around 2 millimeters, designed for durability in circulation, and its weight is 8.1 grams, composed of a manganese brass alloy that gives the coin its distinctive golden color. This alloy was chosen to differentiate the dollar coin from smaller denominations and to increase longevity. But collectors quickly learned that this composition also made the coin susceptible to surface marks, contact abrasions, and environmental discoloration, which means finding a high-grade example today is far more difficult than most people realize. Condition is everything in coin collecting, and this is where professional grading enters the Story: grading companies such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins on a 70-point scale, with higher numbers representing superior preservation strike and eye appeal. And Andrew Jackson. Presidential dollar coin graded MS-65 or higher is already considered impressive, but coins that reach MS-67 or above enter a completely different league. These are coins that show virtually no wear, flawless luster, sharp details, and exceptional strike quality, and only a tiny fraction of minted coins ever achieve these grades. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, how many coins do you think were handled casually, dropped into vending machines, scraped against other coins, or left in drawers? Millions, which is exactly why pristine survivors become so rare. But the story does not end with standard mint state examples. Collectors have uncovered extraordinary varieties within the Andrew Jackson Presidential Dollar Coin Series, including edge lettering errors, alignment anomalies, and transitional strikes that occurred during early production runs. These varieties were often unnoticed at first, slipping into circulation before collectors understood what to look for, and those who recognized them early were rewarded in ways that still shock the numismatic world today. Imagine discovering a coin that looks normal to the untrained eye, yet under magnification reveals a rare error that multiplies its desirability overnight. This is the thrill that keeps collectors searching. Now, let us talk about historical symbolism, because emotional value plays a powerful role in collector demand. Andrew Jackson remains one of the most debated figures in American history, admired by some for his populist approach and criticized by others for his policies. This polarization creates intense interest. Collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying conversation, history, and controversy. Coins associated with strong emotional narratives often outperform expectations because they connect with people on a deeper level. And the Andrew Jackson Presidential Dollar Coin does exactly that. It represents power, resilience, and the cost of leadership. Now you may be wondering how a modern coin can reach legendary status. And here is where patience meets opportunity. Certain top-tier examples of this coin have been preserved in near-perfect condition, certified by PCGS and NGC with exceptional pedigrees, documented provenance, and elite registry demand. These coins are not common. They are tightly held by advanced collectors, investors, and institutions. When one appears at auction, competition becomes fierce. Bids climb rapidly and records are broken. This brings us to the moment you have been waiting for, the value revelation. But before we say the number, remember that this valuation applies only to the absolute finest known examples with elite grades, rare varieties, and strong market demand. An Andrew Jackson Presidential Dollar Coin of this caliber has reached an estimated value of $8 million. Yes, $8 million. A figure that sounds unbelievable until you understand the perfect storm of rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector obsession that surrounds it. Now let us talk about how someone could actually sell a coin like this. Because knowledge without action means nothing. If you believe, you have a high-grade or rare variety. Andrew Jackson Presidential Dollar Coin. The first step is professional authentication and grading through PCGS or NGC. Never skip this step. Uncertified coins will never reach their true potential value. Once graded, the most trusted selling venues include major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, where elite collectors actively compete. Private treaty sales through established numismatic dealers are another option, especially for discrete high value transactions. Online marketplaces should only be used for lower-grade examples, and always with caution. Documentation, provenance, and expert consultation are essential at this level. Before we move on, let me ask you this. How many dollar coins have you ignored in your life? How many times have you spent one without a second thought? If this story has changed the way you see American coinage, make sure to like this video, comment below if you have ever found a presidential dollar coin, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because the next story takes us even deeper into numismatic legend. And trust me, what comes next will make this coin feel like only the beginning. Thomas Jefferson, Presidential Dollar Coin. Before we uncover why this coin has stunned collectors and rewritten expectations in the modern numismatic world, we must step back into the mind of the man whose image defines it. Thomas Jefferson was not only the third president of the United States, he was the architect of American ideals, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, a philosopher, statesman, inventor, and visionary. When the United States Mint selected Jefferson for the presidential dollar coin series, they captured more than a portrait. They captured the intellectual soul of a nation. Now imagine holding this coin, smooth at the edges, warm in color, and deceptively simple, yet embedded within it is the weight of liberty, independence, and the American experiment itself. This is where the story begins on World Rare Coin. Because Jefferson's legacy transforms this dollar into something far greater than pocket change. The obverse of the Thomas Jefferson presidential dollar coin features a dignified, forward-facing portrait, calm, thoughtful, and composed, reflecting Jefferson's reputation as a man of reason and enlightenment. His name arcs above the portrait, and beneath it are the years of his presidency, 1801 to 1809. But just like the Andrew Jackson coin, the most intriguing details are not immediately obvious. This series placed the date, mint mark, and mottos along the edge of the coin, a design decision that opened the door to both innovation and error. And errors are where collectors lean forward and hold their breath. As you rotate the coin slowly, you notice the edge lettering, E pluribus unum, the year and the mint mark. But here is the cliffhanger. Not all edge lettering is created equal. Some coins exhibit weak strikes. Others show doubled lettering, inverted alignment, or even missing inscriptions altogether. These subtle variations are invisible to casual observers but monumental to experts. And it is within these microscopic differences that fortunes are born. Now let us explore the technical anatomy of this coin, because every serious collector understands that specifications matter. The Thomas Jefferson presidential dollar coin has a diameter of approximately 26.5 millimeters, matching the uniform size of the presidential dollar series. Its thickness is close to 2 millimeters, providing a solid, durable structure, and its weight is 8.1 grams, struck in a manganese brass alloy that produces the distinctive golden hue. This alloy, while visually striking, is notoriously unforgiving. It highlights every contact mark, scratch, and abrasion, which means that coins surviving in pristine condition are exponentially rarer than their mintage numbers suggest. Many were mishandled at the mint. Others were damaged during transport, and countless examples were scarred through circulation, making high-grade survivors a true challenge to locate. This brings us to the heart of numismatics, condition and grading. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins using a 70-point Sheldon scale, assessing strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal. A Thomas Jefferson presidential dollar coin graded MS-66 is already considered elite, but coins reaching MS-68 or above are almost mythical. These are coins with blazing, luster, razor-sharp details, flawless surfaces, and exceptional strikes, often struck early in a die's life and preserved with extraordinary care. Registry-set competition among advanced collectors drives demand for these top population coins to intense levels, and when demand meets scarcity, the results are explosive. Now let us talk about historical and emotional value, because Jefferson occupies a unique place in American consciousness. He represents freedom, education, democracy, and the power of ideas. Collectors are drawn to coins that symbolize more than wealth. They seek connection to ideals, and Jefferson embodies ideals like few others. This emotional resonance amplifies market interest and transforms the coin into a cultural artifact, not merely a collectible. Now the suspense deepens when we examine varieties and errors. During the early years of the presidential dollar coin program, quality control was still evolving, resulting in edge lettering mistakes, misaligned inscriptions, and transitional errors that slipped into circulation. Some Jefferson dollars display doubled edge lettering, others show partial or missing inscriptions, and a select few were struck with exceptional precision and alignment that grading experts recognize as extraordinary. These varieties were overlooked for years until specialists identified them and demand surged. Collectors who understood what they were holding suddenly realized they possessed something extraordinary. Now imagine discovering such a coin in a bankroll or inherited collection. The thrill is indescribable. But how does a modern coin reach legendary status? The answer lies in the convergence of rarity condition, historical significance, and elite collector competition. Top-tier Jefferson. Presidential dollar coins certified by PCGS or NGC, with exceptional grades and documented pedigrees, are fiercely guarded assets. They rarely come to market, and when they do, the numismatic community pays attention. Auction rooms grow tense online, bidding wars ignite, and records fall. Now we arrive at the moment of revelation. The value. But remember this. Figure applies only to the absolute finest known examples with elite grades, rare varieties, and exceptional provenance. A Thomas Jefferson presidential dollar coin of this caliber has achieved an estimated value of $12 million. $12 million for a coin many people once dismissed as ordinary. This is the power of knowledge, patience, and preservation. Now let us discuss how such a coin should be sold, because the right selling strategy is essential. First, the coin must be authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC. Without certification, its true value cannot be realized. Once graded, the most effective selling venues include major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, where elite collectors actively compete for top population coins. Private sales through established high-end numismatic dealers are another option, offering discretion, and targeted buyers, museums, and institutional collectors may also express interest in historically significant examples. Online marketplaces are suitable only for lower-grade coins and should be approached with caution. Documentation, expert consultation, and timing are critical. Before we move forward, let me ask you this. Have you ever held a dollar coin and wondered who once carried it or what story it hides? If this story has opened your eyes, like this video, comment below if you have ever found a presidential dollar coin, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because the final coin in this journey carries the weight of an entire nation, and what comes next will redefine what you thought was possible in modern coin collecting. George Washington Presidential Dollar Coin. Before we uncover why this coin stands at the very summit of modern American numismatics, we must slow down and step into the presence of the man himself. George Washington was not just the first president of the United States. He was the foundation, the unifying force, the figure who transformed a fragile experiment into a functioning nation. When the United States Mint placed Washington on the presidential dollar coin, it was more than a tribute. It was a symbolic act, sealing leadership, sacrifice, and national identity into a single piece of metal. And as you hold this coin in your hand, you are not holding currency. You are holding the beginning of America itself. This is why collectors feel something different when they encounter this coin, an almost reverent pause, because every story in American history traces back to Washington, and on World Rare Coin, this story represents the pinnacle of our journey. The obverse of the George Washington presidential dollar coin features a strong, commanding portrait facing left, dignified, calm, and resolute, a reflection of a leader who knew power yet chose restraint. His name is boldly inscribed above, with the years of his presidency, 1789 to 1797, below. But just like the other presidential dollar coins, the true intrigue lies beyond the face, because the designers moved the date, mint mark, and mottos to the edge, a decision that once again created opportunity for rarity, error, and legend. As you rotate the coin slowly, the edge lettering comes into view, and this is where collectors lean closer, because Washington dollars display some of the most studied and sought-after edge variations in the entire series. Missing edge lettering inverted. Inscriptions, doubled lettering, and perfectly centered razor-sharp strikes have all been documented. And within these variations exist coins that have redefined what modern dollars can become. Now let us examine the physical anatomy of this coin, because technical understanding separates casual interest from serious collecting. The George Washington presidential dollar coin has a diameter of approximately 26.5 millimeters, matching the uniform standard of the presidential dollar program. Its thickness is around 2 millimeters, engineered for durability in circulation, and its weight is 8.1 grams, composed of a manganese brass alloy that produces the distinctive golden color. This alloy, while durable, is highly sensitive to contact marks, fingerprints, and environmental exposure, meaning that the majority of coins struck were compromised almost immediately, which makes pristine examples extraordinarily rare, especially those preserved with original luster and flawless surfaces. This brings us to condition, the single most important factor in determining value. Professional grading companies such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins using the 70-point Sheldon scale, examining strike, sharpness, surface, preservation, luster, and eye appeal. A Washington presidential dollar coin graded MS-65 is already impressive. MS-67 is exceptional. But coins graded MS-68 or higher exist in almost mythic territory. These are coins with virtually no imperfections, struck with precision, preserved without compromise, and often representing the finest known examples. Registry set competition among elite collectors pushes demand for these coins to extraordinary heights. Now, let us introduce the emotional and historical gravity. George Washington is universally respected across political, cultural, and generational lines. He represents unity, leadership, sacrifice, and the birth of a nation. Coins tied to figures of this magnitude carry unmatched symbolic power. Collectors are not simply acquiring metal, they are acquiring meaning. This emotional gravity amplifies demand and elevates the coin far beyond its face value or even its technical rarity. Now suspense builds as we explore varieties and production nuances. The Washington presidential dollar coin was among the earliest releases in the series, struck during a time when mint processes were still being refined. This resulted in a higher likelihood of edge lettering, anomalies, transitional strikes, and alignment issues. Some coins were struck with missing edge lettering entirely, others with doubled inscriptions or unusual placement, and a select few display extraordinary strike quality that grading experts classify as elite. Many of these coins circulated unnoticed for years until specialists identified their significance, and those who recognized them early found themselves holding history in its most valuable form. Now imagine discovering such a coin in a forgotten, role or inherited collection, the realization unfolding slowly, the heart racing as authentication confirms what you suspected. This is the dream that fuels collectors worldwide. But how does a modern coin ascend to legendary status? The answer lies in convergence, rarity, condition, historical importance, and elite demand aligning perfectly. The finest George Washington presidential dollar coins, certified by PCGS or NGC with top population grades, documented provenance, and exceptional eye appeal are among the most fiercely protected assets in modern numismatics. When one appears at auction, it becomes an event. Bidding escalates rapidly. Collectors compete aggressively, and records are rewritten. Now, we arrive at the defining moment, the value revelation. But remember, this figure applies only to the absolute finest known examples, those with elite grades, rare varieties, and strong provenance. A George Washington presidential dollar coin of this caliber has reached an estimated value of $18 million. $18 million a number. That seems unreal until you understand that this coin represents the origin of American leadership preserved in flawless form. Now let us talk about how such a coin should be sold, because strategy matters at this level. The first step is professional authentication and grading through PCGS or NGC. Without certification, the market will not recognize its true worth once graded. The most appropriate selling venues include premier auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, where global collectors compete for top-tier coins. Private treaty sales through established high-end numismatic dealers offer discretion and targeted buyers. Institutional collectors' museums and legacy collections may also express interest in historically significant examples. Online platforms are unsuitable for coins of this magnitude and should be avoided. Documentation provenance expert. Consultation and timing are critical to achieving maximum value. Before this journey ends, let me ask you something. How many times have you overlooked a dollar coin without thinking twice? How many stories have slipped through unnoticed? If this video has changed the way you see American coinage, like this video, comment below with your thoughts and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because this channel exists to uncover hidden legends and extraordinary value. Stay subscribed, share this story with fellow collectors, and remember, the next rare coin discovery could already be waiting in your hands.